What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I had to say that because we got some tea to get into. But before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. I almost forgot what I was going to say, but we got it out. Now back to the Mother's Day tea. Y'all, I'm very excited. We have a theme. Last year was a Peachy's Mother's Day. The year before last was a Mary Berry Mother's Day. And this is a Pretty in Pink Mother's Day. This is in honor of my mom's journey with breast cancer. We're really pulling something positive out of it. So this theme, I'm just kind of going all out with it. The pink flowers, the pink balloons, the pink, honestly, crazy, right? But pink food, we'll get there. Let's just honestly start off with the food because the baking is my tea and cooking is not as much as a passion as baking might be for me. So, okay, cooking. First things first, I'm making shrimp. Absolutely. I'm making lobster. I'm definitely going to poach those for sure. I'm making salmon. I'm making spinach. I'm making asparagus. I'm making rice, and the rice is actually going to be colored pink. And I'm making macaroni and cheese. Now, there's a traditional way that my mom has made it, that the family makes it. That is the way to make macaroni and cheese, period. But I do have my own recipe. I went about this entirely different than, any other mac and cheese that I've ever eaten from my family. But, it definitely still holds the basis of that tradition in it. Because I have to have a baked macaroni and cheese. That's just the tea for me. I really do. So this one really came out just wonderful, and I wondered how I could stay on theme with the seafood, and I instantly thought of crawfish for some reason. And I was like, you want to know what? I'm gonna do a crawfish macaroni and cheese, and it was just such, like, I don't know. It was just better than what I had imagined. I don't know what I imagined, but bitch, I definitely hit the nail on the hammer there. And like I said, cooking is not my main passion. I can cook. I'm good at it. It can be fun, but baking is always fun, and that is the difference for me. Now, not all these podcasts are not long. These are just updates because people like to know what I'm doing for special days, and I don't have time to tell everybody. So even these podcasts are really like for core people who are keeping up, and also family and friends who also want to know. So that is just the dinner. We've got some rosé going on, blah 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 blah, and yeah, everything's all fine and dandy over here with the dinner. Okay, and we're moving on to baking because I'm very excited about it. Okay, look, I only baked two things because I wanted to keep it simple. I say this probably every other baking podcast. I just want to keep things simple because I want to focus on the quality of the products that I'm making. I used to make 7, 8, 9, 10 things, and I may do that for Christmas. And if I do, I keep what I'm making simple. But, sometimes when I do bake few things, like let's say I bake two things, I'm still probably not going to go super specialty on it. Maybe I'll do a specialty cake and keep it simple. And this time, that's exactly what I did. I kept it simple with the cookies. So the cookies, they're actually pink velvet cookies. I know. I had a crumble pink velvet cookie, and I was just like, this could have been done 10 times better. No shade, but shade, girl. So I was like, you want to know what? I'm just going to make my own. And I did, and it came out fantastic. I make sure that I had it nice hot pink to go on theme, and I rolled it in sugar just because I really wanted it to pop and give like this glitter type effect to the cookie, even though I do have spray on glitter. I always do. Gold and silver at all times, if you must know. But yeah, I had so much fun making these cookies from scratch. And again, that's also why I minimize what I make, because I make things from scratch much more than I used to. So it requires more time. And with these cookies, I don't know, like it was just so incredibly fun creaming the sugar and the butter and just adding your eggs and then your extract, and it was just, it was a very good time making these cookies. What I like to do when I make my cookies, I will make my batter. I'll probably put it in the fridge for a little bit just so it can kind of, harden up a little bit. It's still doughy. It's not too soft or anything for me, but I do like to have my dough a bit more firm when I roll it. And I use an ice cream scooper just so that way each cookie is the same exact size. That's what I like to use it for portion size. I see all the time when people they use ice cream scoops for their cake batter, and most people are like, "Well, it doesn't really make a difference," but it's just about the right portion in each thing. Because a lot of times people may have an issue where they put more in one cake pan than the other, and the cakes aren't really lining up. I think either way, right? There's like a right way to do things, supposedly, but even if one cake was bigger than the other, you could adjust. Put the big one on the bottom and the small one on the top. Like that's just what I would do. Anywho, it's really interesting when I bake because, and I say this all the time, what I start out with is not what the hell that I it's just not what I thought. It's not what I planned. And that's honestly the beauty in it because I have a set plan. It's kind of like a template, right? So if I'm going to do a resume, I'm going to probably get a template to help me fill out this resume. I'm not going to construct it from the ground up. People really don't do that. Let's be real. So that's just kind of what it is to me, just to kind of give you a little analogy or whatever and type shit. So those cookies, fantastic. They really do have this velvety texture to it, which I love. I'm telling you, bitch, baking from scratch is trial and error. And the light bulb moment was when I made this. What cake was it? It was a white mocha espresso cake. It was fantastic. And then I made no, it was a white mocha cake. I made the white mocha cake and then I made the brown sugar shaken oat espresso cupcakes. Wonderful. Those cracked the code baking wise for me. Everything made sense to me. Um, but yeah, as far as the cookies, I feel like cakes are much easier for me than cookies. I'm not a pastry baker. I know that. I may do a little cinnamon roll. I may do a little messy scone, but I am not. I can do some homemade biscuits though. Like I can do pretty simple things for the most part. I can do my bagels. um I'm really kind of testing the water with things because I'm really am planning out what the menu for the So Sweets Bakery is going to be because it is going to be a bakery. It's going to be a physical spot. It's going to be several physical spots. So it's a lot of years. It's just been experimenting with different flavors and what are my best. What do I want the menu to look like? Because when you walk into So Sweets, none of what you see in an everyday bakery I don't want. I want that cotton candy cake on the menu. I want the bubblegum cake on the menu. I want the cookie butter cake on the menu. I want these different flavors that are not out there. People can come in here and know that it's fun. It's so sweet. It's the sweetest flavors. So I'm really excited to test the waters on a bunch of other things, but I really did try something out this time and it absolutely came out fantastic. Get this. So I made a rose cake. Yeah, yeah, I made a rose cake, and I'm not gonna give away the recipe. I can't because the cake just came out too good, bitch. But I will tell you that I did use actual rose, and it was phenomenal. I was originally gonna use non-alcoholic, but honestly, yeah, it was just so much better using the regular rosé. Fantastic. I mean, I didn't know how this cake was going to come out. I had the idea for such a long time because I wanted to do a pink champagne cake. And honestly, a pink champagne cake and a rosé cake, they are not the same. I just want to be real. The taste is totally different because pink champagne, you're probably just going to use regular champagne. In regular champagne and rosé, they don't taste